back to the show. One more time, please, everybody. Woo! Thank you. Thank you. My guest on the show, like I said to you earlier on, she's a brain expert. It's no other person than Arlene Taylor on the show. Please, a big applause as she comes on set, please. Hello, man. Good to see you. Thank you very much, man. You're looking well, man.
Are you French?
Well, I'm trying to be French.
Obviously.
Comment ça va? Ça va? Thank you very much, man, for coming.
My pleasure.
Tramore, please have your seat, please. Thank you very much. I like when my guest comes on set and they ask me if I'm French.
Well, you know, I get 2 cheek rubs.
Yeah.
That's a little French.
It's a good smile. Then thank you very much for coming to Ireland. And I believe you're having a good time as well.
I love Ireland.
You love
but then I've got cellular memory from Ireland.
Oh, yes.
Because my grandfather came from Achill Sound.
Wow.
Sailed out of Cork to Canada.
Yes.
Married my grandmother, who was French.
Yeah.
I think because he bought her a pair of shoes. The family was a little poor, 13 children.
13 children?
And so she didn't have shoes, and I think he bought her a pair of shoes, and that's why she married him.
Oh. That was a good one. Come on, don't remember that, please. Thank you. Wow.
So I feel very, very at home in Ireland, and I think, again, that's because of cellular memory. You know, we carry in the nucleus of our cells memories on protein strands of what our ancestors did for the last 3 or 4 generations. And so I think I must have some of that cellular memory.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yes, ma'am. You are a brain expert.
I don't like to be called an expert. That's, you know, a drip under pressure 30 miles from home.
That is true.
But I do study brain function, and so probably most people say I'm a brain function specialist.
Specialist, yes, I think that.
Not an expert.
Not an expert. But at least you can tell us more beyond what we thought about ourselves.
I hope so.
Well, that's why we want you on the show, because we want to hear more from you. We want to be educated about how we function. So first, ma'am, for me personally, would be, how did you get into this whole process of how the brain functions?
You know, that's a good question, and I personally can't remember a time when I was not interested in the brain. My mother says that when I was 5 years old, she walked into my father's office, and I was lying on my stomach on the floor and had this great big atlas of the human body in front of me, and I was looking at the brain, and I said, "Mom, look at this. This is what it looks like inside my head."
True.
And the next day I went back to look at it again, and I couldn't find it.
Wow.
And I said to my mother, "Where is the book with the brain?" And I think she came close to lying. She said, "You know, I'm not exactly sure where that is."
Yeah.
I found out later she gave it to my father and said, "Don't tell me where you put it." Because there was a picture of some naked people in there as well as the brain. So,
yes, ma'am.
a little short-sighted, wouldn't you say?
So how can we develop a positive mindset as a human being towards our brain?
Oh, come on, a mindset's a choice.
Yes.
You know, there's 2 main mindsets. There's a growth mindset and there's a fixed mindset. And the fixed mindset says, well, I am who I am, nothing I can do about it. I'll just have to live out my life. And the growth mindset says, come on, I got a brain. I can learn almost anything I want to learn. True. It's a choice. But the problem is that we grow up listening to what people say to us and about us. And my parents did the best they could with what they know, but you can only do what you know.
Very true.
And very few people know much about the brain. You ask the average person, tell me about your health. Oh, they'll list it off. Have you had any surgeries? They'll list those off. Tell me about your education. They'll tell you all about that. Tell me about your family. And then you say, tell me about your brain. And all of a sudden, there's this curtain that falls. And they, I'll say, come on, tell me about your brain. What do you know about your brain? Well, I think I have one. It's somewhere in here, but that's about all they know. So they never use their brain by design. Wow. And that's the whole point of brain function. Now that we've got this wonderful brain scanning equipment, they can watch your brain while you're alive. Until we got brain scanning equipment, and believe me, I've been around since the late 1800s.
I believe it.
What we knew about the brain was very, very little. You'd maybe take a brain after the person died, crack the skull, take the brain out, and your brain really looks very much like your wrist, which is the first brain layer, your fist, which is the second brain layer. Put this hand over, there's your third brain layer. If you move that right into your skull, that's basically your brain. Wow. So they'd take it out, and they would literally slice it on a meat slicer, and then they'd lay it out on a light table, put a light under it, and now you go look at those slices with a microscope. We learned a lot about the brain. Did nothing for the person whose brain was on the light table. And then we got brain scan equipment, and we can watch your brain working while we ask you to do something, and it's wonderful.
It's just like, the way we do what we call, there's this, is it the DNA, the one you put your hands and then you talk, and I don't know, Terry, can you help me with that one? When it says
somebody needs to help him.
Yeah. That reads the way we say if you're lying, for instance. Okay, no problem. We're gonna put you on a DNA and DNA just to check if your fingerprints. The other one is called yes. Thank you very much. That's why I have you there, Terry. Thank you very much. Yeah, so that is part of the whole brain function here as well.
Well, now that's interesting about lie detectors, because when in the lie detector equipment that we've been using for 100 years, when you wire people up and you ask them a question and they're telling a lie, what you're really measuring is that your brain and your immune system know that you're lying, and it changes the chemistry of your body. Right. And they can pick that up. But here's the problem. If you're a sociopath, you don't know the difference. And so you can't pick that up. So now they're starting to look at, is there some way that we can do a brain scan and tell whether someone is lying or not? And I think we may get there someday, because if you have seen something but you say you didn't do it and you didn't see it, one part of your brain's going to light up.
True.
But if you really didn't see it and didn't do it, another part of your brain will light up. And we're not sophisticated enough yet to do that, but we may get there. We may get there.
How can we regularly use our affiliations and visualization through our brain? How do we walk around it?
Oh, some people are just scared of even the word visualization. Visualization just means that in your mind's eye, you're making a mental picture. And it's hugely, hugely important and effective. So let's say that I play the piano, because I do.
Okay.
And I have practiced the piano. And now I need to go somewhere and play the piano, but there's not a lot of time to practice. I can practice in my mind's eye.
True. Whoa.
And that can increase my skills. Now, I don't know how my father knew this. I wanted a harp as a girl. And my father says, we're not going to buy a harp. I mean, those things are huge and they're expensive, and I'd have to have a pickup truck to haul it around. So when you get to heaven, you can have a harp. So he gave me a violin because he was a violinist.
Okay.
Oh, that was pitiful. I have no aptitude for the violin. And after I practiced 3 or 4 days, I came to him and I said, Dad, I don't think this is my instrument. He goes, I don't think it is either. Says all day long I'm listening to a dying cat. So he bought me a vibraharp. Now, I don't know if you know what a vibraharp is. It looks a little bit like a marimba,
Okay.
but it's electric. And so at the top of each tube is a little thing that rotates.
Okay.
So you've got your mallets. You have a pedal on the floor so that you're not dampening it.
All right.
You hit it once. It's not like a marimba where you keep hitting it. You hit it once, but those little beaters carry the sound.
Okay.
So my dad, I come down to breakfast one morning and he goes, well, Arlene, there's something for you in the living room. So I go look in the living room. I wanted a dog. It was not a dog. Look at this piece of equipment. I mean, I didn't even know what it was. And I said, Dad, what is this? Well, he said, we're not getting you a harp. So I got you a vibraharp.
No.
So he says, here's the mallets. You can start practicing. Okay, I don't have particularly good eye-hand coordination. I do fine on the piano.
Right.
But he hands me these mallets. So first of all, I start with 2, and I did okay with 2. Then he hands me 2 more. Now I have to get those 2 going. And believe me, they didn't want to stay in my hands.
Wow.
I would hit a chord and one mallet would go. And I'd go pick it up and another one would go. So I had the vibraharp for 2 weeks.
Okay.
And I'm learning to play some songs. And my father's driving me to school. And he says, all right, Arlene, 2 weeks from today, we're going to have some special meeting at the school and I want you to play a vibraharp solo. And I looked at him and I said, Dad, are you out of your mind? I've had the vibraharp for 2 weeks. And that's 2 weeks from now. He says, you can do it. I said, Dad, I don't have time to practice. Well, he says, practice in your mind. And I said, what? He said, practice in your mind. No one had ever said that to me, and I don't know where he learned that. I said, how do you do that? I'm in the passenger seat. Of course, in Canada, the driver's on the left side.
Yes.
And so he says to me, all right, sit there, close your eyes. I closed my eyes. He said, can you see the vibraharp in front of you? I said, yeah, I can, Dad. He says, pick up the mallets. Okay, I picked up the mallets. He said, all right, start playing something you know. And I started playing, and he said, can you see yourself hitting the notes? I said, yes. He said, can you hear if you make a mistake? And I said, yes, I can. He says, fine. You don't have time to practice in real time?
Yes.
Practice in your mind.
Wow.
For the next 50 years, I did most of my vibraharp practicing in my mind, visualizing. Hey, I had lots of free time. You can do it if you want to. And sometimes I'd, of course, practice the song. And then for the next 2 weeks, I'd only practice in my mind.
Wow. Big applause for that, please. I like that. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. I believe we've all achieved something today. Have we all achieved something here in the audience today? Yes. Wonderful, wonderful. So, ma'am, before we let you go today on the show, we have something very special. It's called the G quiz. Are you excited about that?
A G quiz.
Quiz.
I don't know whether I'm excited yet.
She's going to be excited, though. Let's find out. Are we ready? Yes. Let's go. So, ma'am, we have 3 questions there for you. So, first question would be, what is the name of the Republic of Ireland presidents? A, Michael D. Higgins. 2, Etta Kenny. 3, Jerry Adams.
You gotta be kidding. Last time I was here, there was a woman.
Yes.
Well, it's probably the Michael somebody or other, because that's a good Irish name.
Woo! That's correct. Our next question for you, ma'am, is well, I know you came through Dublin anyway, just to break it down. And there are different ways to go to the airport. So one of them is the M1, the next one is the M50, and the third one is the M7. So which of them you think can bring it down to the airport?
I have not been to the Dublin airport yet. I go on Monday. So the only one I see signs for is M1.
Woo! My goodness. Now, you're doing really good. Now, we have one more to go for you, ma'am. I
thought these were going to be brain questions.
It's part of the brain questions, ma'am. Right, so our final one for you is, what was the color of Napoleon horse? A, white, B, blue, C, none.
Last time I saw Napoleon,
Yes?
I think he was on a white horse.
Woo! Thank you. This is where we bring it to the final stage. Because you got all three questions right, we have a special teacup for you from the Jury Request Show with our logo in there, and it's all for you, ma'am. Thank you so much.
You know, I've wanted one of these my whole life.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you very much. Thank you. It's a pleasure to have you. This is where we bring it to the final end of the show. I believe viewers at home, you've enjoyed everything Arlene Taylor has talked to us about, and you're going to go home with something that would help you. Make sure you go to our website. Before we let her go, ma'am, how can people go to your website? How can they find you?
Well, my website, of course, is on a computer.
Good.
If you're looking for me, I'm an org.
Okay.
Because I have a nonprofit research corporation.
Right.
So it's www.arlenetaylor.org.
Yes. ArleneTaylor.org. Okay, this is where we'll bring it on one more time, please. Thank you. Okay, thank you so much. Thank you, Helen. Thank you, my wonderful, beautiful audience. Make some noise, everybody. Woo! Thank you. Thank you to all my production crew for making this whole production successful one. It is a wonderful day. This is what we talk about for this new season. It's happening right here on the Jury Request Show. Thank you to everybody. Tune in to the Jury Request Show on the Skype platform. Log on to our website at www.juryrequestshow.com, on Facebook, Twitter, and also on Instagram. If you have any story or something very important you'd like to share with us, you know where to go. It's the Jury Request Show. With everyone on first and our guest on the show and my beautiful audience in the studio and production crew. See you next week, and God bless you, and bye for now. Thank you. Thank you very much.